Good evening and welcome to Nightwatch. This is Mike Kelly. We have a special in-studio guest tonight, Dream Theater drummer Mike Portnoy.
Hey.
All right, how you doing, Mike?
Okay, doing good.
All right, welcome to L.A.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good to have you here. For those of you who are familiar with Dream Theater, this is going to be a special night. Mike's brought some Dream Theater rarities with him. He's going to be playing.
This was BYOB. Bring your own boots.
Your own rarities, yes. For those of you who haven't heard Dream Theater, tonight we'll give you a chance to get acquainted with their music. I thought the first thing that we would do before we get into some music is I thought we'd be interesting to ask you, Mike, if you could give us a brief history of Dream Theater and tell us about some of the band's influences.
Well, the history is easy. Keeping it brief isn't, but I'll try my best. Well, we've been around now for, I guess, 9 years. Myself and the guitar player and bass player, John, we met at the Berklee College of Music in Boston back in '85 and put the band together. And they were high school friends that were up there together. And after a year up at Berklee, we hooked back up with Kevin Moore, our keyboard player, who had gone to school with those guys. And I'm just going to jump ahead a couple of years here.
Go for it.
We've been through 3 singers, and we did an album in 1989 on MCA Records, Mechanic MCA, called When Dream a Day Unite. That pretty much came and went without much notice, except for the fanatical, hardcore, progressive rock fans. And then we made the change, and we got our third and current and final vocalist, James LeBray, who's from Toronto, Canada, and put out the Images and Words album back in '92, 2 years ago, on Atco East West Records. Toured the world for about a year and a half, and now we're out here in LA working on album number 3.
Great.
That's 9 years in a quick 2-minute nutshell.
Well, we're going to skip ahead even further. We've got a track queued up. You're going to tell us about what's behind door number 1.
Door number 1. I brought all sorts of goodies here. I brought a lot of live tapes from my personal archives. Actually, I had a limited stuff to choose from because I only had what I actually brought to LA with me just to listen through. So I had to choose from that. But
and by the way, I really did twist his arm to give us as much of a preview as possible of the forthcoming album, and so we will be hearing some demos of that later on as well.
Okay. Well,
with a big disclaimer attached that they are just demos, and this is not in any way, shape, or form nothing resembling the finished record. But
it'll be a little taste. But we want to keep you guys in suspense for the new record. But we have a little taste for you here tonight. But I brought lots of live tapes from my collection. And I really didn't bring any live material from Images and Words because all that stuff has been pretty much well documented between the Tokyo video and the Marquee CD. I mean, there's live versions of all that stuff. Yeah. So I basically brought a lot of stuff from our first album redone and other little live treats and things that are going to really embarrass us. But you want to kick off with the first thing we have here?
Let's go for it.
All right. For those of you keeping track here, I have exact dates and everything. What you're about to hear is from Manchester, England, November 26, '93. And this is something off of our first album called Afterlife, and it has a little prelude attached to it, which you might recognize, an old 70s TV show, Mission Impossible. So this is us in Manchester, Mission Impossible and Afterlife. There you have it.
All right.
Straight from Manchester, England.
Tell us again what that was.
That was a song from our first album, Afterlife, redone with James on vocals, and a version of Mission Impossible, which is something we used to play years and years ago. When we were in Europe on this last leg of the tour, we pretty much were, after 12 months of playing all the Images and Words stuff, we were just getting antsy, so we were really messing around with the set and putting a lot of weird stuff in there, stuff that we had never played live before. So I brought a lot of that stuff with me. So being we never got to do any of that in America, maybe this is a chance for the people that don't collect the bootlegs to hear that stuff that we were doing.
So when you did Images and Words tour here, you weren't doing any of this material from the first record?
No, we were doing some of it, but not these tracks. We weren't doing Afterlife and some of the other stuff I brought. We were doing pretty much the stuff that's been documented on the live video and the live album, stuff like A Fortune Lies and You'd Say Jam, The Killing Hand. But by the time we got over to Europe on the last leg of the tour, we were playing a lot of new stuff, a lot of old stuff that we hadn't played, and it was fun. We got to mix it up a bit.
Great. One thing Mike and I were talking about during the music there off mic was the influences behind Dream Theater. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, it's
the ones you're willing to admit.
It's everything. I mean, we really listen to so many different things. It's hard to really categorize anything. I mean, when we first formed, we were all influenced by a lot of the same kind of things. A lot of the two basic things were progressive rock and heavy metal. The bands like Rush, Yes, and Kansas, that kind of stuff, as well as Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and Metallica. So when we first got together, we were doing a lot of that kind of stuff, Rush covers and Iron Maiden covers or whatever. I mean, so that's basically generalizing the two biggest kinds of music that influence us. But I mean, through the years, we've just gone down different roads individually, and everybody listens to a lot of different things, whether it be Pink Floyd and Peter Gabriel, or Pantera and Sepultura, or the Beastie Boys and Public Enemy. I mean, it's just everything: jazz, classical, rap, heavy metal, thrash, just everything in the book. Everything except for country western.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't think I've ever warmed up to either.
Although actually, Steve Morse and the Dregs have a taste of that.
Yeah, there is that country tinge in there, isn't there?
Twang.
So, well, it's interesting, the whole idea of this marriage of what we call progressive rock with more of the heavy metal kind of thing. And I guess before Dream Theater, there wasn't really anybody that had really done that.
Well, there were lots of people doing it, but I'm glad to say that we were lucky enough to be one of the ones that actually were able to become somewhat successful doing it. I mean, there's a lot of bands out there combining progressive rock and heavy metal, and unfortunately, a lot of them don't get heard. The major labels and everything are scared to sign them. I mean, good friends of ours, Fate's Warning, were doing it for years, years before us. Unfortunately, they never got that push to have the exposure that we had, and I mean, they're still doing it, and hopefully it'll happen for them. But I mean, there's a lot of bands like that. A band called Watchtower out of Texas that was doing really wacky progressive stuff. Band out of California, Psychotic Waltz. There's a lot of bands like that, but we were lucky enough to have the exposure to bring it to a more mainstream audience. And hopefully what we've done off this last record will open a lot of doors for some of these other bands. And also before us, I mean, bands like Queensryche or even Metallica to a certain extent were combining it, and they even opened the doors for us, So hopefully it'll constantly develop. I mean, this year alone, there's a slew of progressive or quote-unquote progressive albums coming out. I mean, there's the Yes album is out, the new Pink Floyd, the new Marillion album, which is my favorite album of the year. I mean, that's amazing. And then our album is going to be out by the end of the year. New Queensryche will be out. Fate's Warning, like I mentioned, they have a record coming out. So, there's a lot of it out there. And maybe one day everybody will get to hear it all,
Sure. It's great that you guys were able to get a major label deal. I mean, Atco is obviously one of the major companies, and it's interesting that, actually the first album was on MCA.
Right.
MCA, right. So from the beginning, the band has had some major support. And
I wouldn't call that first.
Well, I was
going to
say, yeah, but let's not use that word for the first record, but at least for Images and Words, and obviously for the next one. We've got another song. What are we going to hear?
All right, this is the one I was twisted into bringing. This is Door Number 2. Is that Door Number 2 out there?
Yes.
Okay, this is, like I mentioned earlier, we're out here working on our third album, and things are going great. We're just about done with the record. It's going to be called Awake. The name of the record, and everything's going really well. We've recorded 13 songs for the record. No, actually, we recorded 13, but we're putting 11 on the record. The record's only going to have 11 tracks, and then we're going to have 2 left over.
2 bonus tracks for those collectible CDs.
Yeah, B-sides or whatever. So 11 songs, and it's going to be pushing the CD limit to the max. It's going to be like 74 minutes long or something like that.
Wow.
And it's just a wide variety of stuff, from the heaviest stuff we've ever written down to the most mellow and dynamic stuff we've ever written. Some long songs, some short songs. We can get more in depth with the album later. But anyway, here I brought one of the demos that we did before we came out, and actually, this is probably the worst sounding demo we did for the whole album.
Disclaimer, yeah.
But the only reason I brought it is, first of all, it would leave that much more for your imagination for when the record comes out. But also, this we've made a lot of changes to the song since this demo. So if anything, it's an interesting demo to hear. But it's called "Caught in the Web," and disclaimer. I'll keep going with the disclaimers, but this is the
in
demo
its embryonic
version.
state.
Yes, but this is it. "Caught in the Web." Well, there you have it. "Caught in the Web," the demo version. But that's just a little taste of what's to come. That's one of the heavier tracks.
In fact, if you're just joining us, we need to tell you what you're hearing and who you're listening to. This is Nightwatch on 96.7 KWIZ. My name is Mike Kelly, and we've got Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, the drummer for Dream Theater, in the studio with us tonight. And we know we've got some listeners out there, some loyal Nightwatch listeners, and some maybe some new listeners, some new Dream Theater fans that are listening to the show for the first time. We've got some special freebies here for you. We've got some things to give away courtesy of Roundtable. In fact, I want to thank Jim and Don of Roundtable Management for, yes.
Thanks, Jim and Rob.
For setting this up and for being loyal supporters of the Nightwatch program. I'll tell you what we have. We have some promotional-only Dream Theater live mini CDs. They've got two live tracks that were part of a CD that was released in Japan and Europe only, never released here in America. We've got a few copies of that CD, and we have Dream Theater Images and Words live in Tokyo.
Hey, can I go in the other room and call for the video? I'm out of videos. I need one.
Yeah, go for it. Well, you can have one of these.
No,
yeah,
I wouldn't do that.
Anyway, we've got the Dream Theater CDs and the Dream Theater video. And how do you want to do this? Do you want to have a little contest, or you just want to take some callers and pick caller number 1, 2, 3, or however?
Well, it's your call. It's your show. Just have them fire away.
I'll tell you what, yeah, let's just, we'll give you the number. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to set up another song.
This isn't a song that we're setting up. Wait till we hear this.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. Call, not until you hear the music. Wait until you hear some kind of music. Mike's going to have a surprise for us. But as soon as you hear some music, call us at 1-800-748-4651. And the, let's say the first, I guess, 3 lucky callers will get these free goodies. Mike is going to set us up now with what we're going to hear.
You know what time it is, Mike?
7:25.
No, it's not. It's time for Silly Tour Moment number 1. I know it's easier to walk away. Wait a second. I have got to set this up before we run it. You have to run this again. This is Silly Tour Moment number 1. What it is one of those crazy things that happen on tour that just happens spontaneously. And let me set this up. This was in Nottingham, England on November 24th, 1993. And we were playing Wait for Sleep and Surrounded, which run back to back, and they both are just piano pieces with vocals and stuff. And there was this one really obnoxious guy in the audience that kept, like, it was this really mellow moment with James just getting real emotional, and this one guy in the audience just kept screaming out the lyrics at the top of his lungs. Really,
only in England. I've been to that gig in Nottingham, and only in England would you get that.
And these people, this guy just kept yelling out the words, but really, like, obnoxiously. It wasn't like he was just a fan getting into it. And the first couple times, James was like, hey man, cool out. Kept going, whatever. And by the time we got to the end of Surrounded and it came back into the piano thing, this guy just kept going. And James got so pissed he just dropped the mic and jumped into the audience after this guy. And we didn't know what to think. We're standing on stage like, what the hell is going on here? And we figured he'd come right back up. After like a couple minutes, we're still on stage. He hasn't come back up, so we don't know what to do. John's doing a little guitar solo.
Diver down.
So finally, what happened was James never showed back up on the stage. So I walk up to the front of the stage and decided to finish surrounded by myself. And I don't know why I'm playing this for you, because this is like the most embarrassing thing, but this is it. This is the end of Surrounded.
Drummer Mike Portnoy.
Sung by me in Nottingham, England. To walk away than looking in the eye. But I am giving all that I could take. I always wanted to do this. And now I've only habits left to break. I want to hear you guys all nice and loud. Tonight I'll still be lying here surrounded.
Tonight I'll still be lying here surrounded in all the light.
Right.
Now that's the way it should be sung. I can't believe I played that, but at least we redeemed ourselves with having James sing it.
Well, you see, one of the things that we try to do here on Nightwatch is give the fans something that they cannot possibly get anywhere else. And it's my hunch that Atlantic Records, as stellar as your vocal performance was there, Mike, I don't think they're going to be releasing that anytime in the near future.
No, I think that might be the only time that it's ever heard, at least coming from me. That's for sure.
Oh, it was cool. It was a good story to go with it. Michael, our engineer, we have a question for you. Is it possible for us to take phone calls on the air here? It is. Well, if anybody's got any questions for Mike, we'll try and work it out so that we can get you in on the air. But I know we've got a lot more music to play. Why don't we do that? Why don't we play some more music while we're figuring out if we can take calls on the air?
We can continue to dig into the archives here.
Yeah, behind door number 4.
Door number 4. This is a piece that we were doing on the last European tour. It's called Barfbag. And what we try to do on all the tours is have a section of the show where we have improvisation or some sort of guitar showcase piece. And if anybody has the live CD, Live at the Marquee, there's a track called Bombay Vindaloo.
It's my favorite, yes.
That's exactly what it is. It's just an improvisational jam, just something that was spontaneous and happened live. So usually every leg we try to come up with something new that can fit into that portion of the show. And it's fun, because it keeps us on our toes, and things can change from night to night. But you're in danger of walking that fine line between magical and disastrous every night.
But that's okay, because that's how the great moments of magic happen, is getting really close to the edge like that.
And the disastrous moments as well, though. Actually, what I'm going to play for you here is from Cercy, Switzerland, on November 14th, 93. And this was like a guitar showcase thing that had an improv section in the middle, which might have fallen upon the disastrous side on this night, but it's pretty interesting nonetheless. It's a track called Barfbag, and I don't know, check it out. This is from Switzerland.
Mike.
There we go.
Okay, we're back. We're going to try and take some phone calls here. Wait a minute. Here's the phone, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Line number 1, we have somebody calling about some sheet music.
Hello. Hold on. I don't think we're getting you on the air yet.
Hold on.
Hold on a second.
How about now?
Say something. Modern technology here. We're winging this.
We're winging this. This is live radio.
Here come the engineers. Hang on.
Okay. Hold on. Yes, here we go. Okay, hold on. Go for it.
Okay, we can play live music from around the world, but we can't take phone calls. Okay, are you there?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, now we got you.
What's happening?
Oh, hey. Everything's cool.
So, you got something to ask me?
Yeah, I got in a newsletter, I think, from you guys.
Right.
And something about a book of sheet music that you were going to put out, like a book of image and word stuff.
Right.
I was wondering if there was any progress on that.
Well, actually, we had somebody transcribe the whole album for us, and they were going to put out a song book with all the tracks. And we looked over the transcriptions, and maybe half of it was accurate. So John Petrucci took the project into his hands, and he begun transcribing everything. And it's been a very time-consuming thing for him. We were over in Korea doing a promotional tour, and he was like, transcribing everything. And so he got pretty much finished with it, but then it came time to start writing music for this album, and obviously that took a priority. So right now it's still getting dealt with, and hopefully we'll have it out before we have the next album out. Otherwise he's going to have to transcribe that as well. But hopefully it'll be out soon. But it's something that John was working on for a while.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, man.
It's too bad that Frank Zappa's not with us anymore, because he would have been the guy for the job to transcribe.
Well, actually, Steve
Dream
Vai
Theater.
transcribed all his stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't even talk about Frank. He doesn't impress me because he's my favorite.
Great man. Line number 2.
Hello.
Hello, Mike.
Yeah, we had him.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, am I?
What's that?
You're here.
I'm from MI Musicians Institute.
Right.
And I just wanted to ask you about Kevin Moore.
Okay, actually, Kev just pointed out an article to me in Details. Did you see that?
Yeah,
About bands at MI that had to play Pull Me Under or something like that? That's pretty cool. We'd love to hear tapes of that, actually.
We did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh man, Kevin is my idol.
Really?
Yeah, he's my idol.
Well, we'd love to hear that.
Yeah, that would be great. We're planning to do a Metropolis.
Right.
There's a guy called Christian, he's a good guitar player too, from Sweden, and yeah, oh man, the songs you guys do, it's excellent, it's brilliant.
Thank you.
So amazing.
Thank you very much.
Wow, and just carry on the good work, and wow, cool.
Okay.
You guys rock, man.
Thank you.
All right, Mike.
We'll see you soon.
Okay, buddy.
Take care, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Caller number 3.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, my name's Tim. I also go to MI too, and I'm in the room. I'm a roommate with the guy Christian, the first guy I just mentioned.
Oh, really? I just realized he wanted to ask a question about Kev, but he never did.
Yeah, I'm just in awe here. I'm talking to my idol right here. And I just wanted, what's your inspiration behind drums, Mike?
My musical inspirations?
Yeah, I mean, when you approach a part, do you just sit down and figure out what to do, or you just let it come from inside?
Well, basically the way we write is it's very spontaneous. We don't really come in with finished songs. We basically get together and start jamming on different ideas. I mean, sometimes I'll have some odd time grooves, or somebody else will have a lick, and basically it's like a connect the dots thing where everything just sort of leads to something else and inspires another part, and then we start thinking of cool ways to connect them, and then maybe bring back a theme from earlier on and play it in a different time signature. So when we're writing, we basically get our inspiration from each other, because I'll play something, and maybe John Petrucci will play something, and then that'll inspire me, and I'll say, wow, oh wait, try this, It's basically a giant collaboration, and I think that's why the music gets really diverse at times, because we have a lot of different, inspirations coming in, because we're all writing together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when's the album coming out?
Well, we're going to be finished up the end of next month, because I'm getting married, so hopefully we'll finish it up before I get married. And at that point, I think it'll take about 2 months in order for the record company to turn it around. So we're shooting for an October 5th release as of now, and the album's called Awake, and hopefully the beginning of October it'll be out, and we'll be on tour shortly afterwards.
Thanks a lot. Keep up the great work, man.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. More music I think we've got here.
You know what time I think it is? I think it's time for Silly Tour Moment number 2.
All right.
What do you think?
All right.
We're
ready. We're ready.
Okay, well, let me see. Silly Tour Moment number 2. What this is this may not be as silly as number 1, but this is pretty silly. We had a great band on tour with us for the last American tour, the Galactic Cowboys. Great bunch of guys, fantastic band, and they used to come up and sing backups for Take the Time with us every night. It was a lot of fun. And what we used to do is a couple times every week we would write limericks for the towns that we were in. And usually one of the Galactic Cowboys would come up on stage sometime during the show and recite the limerick for the town. So what I have here is, this is the limerick for Norwalk, Connecticut, and this was on July 10th, 93. And this is the Norwalk Limerick featuring Ben Huggins of the Galactic Cowboys.
Any second.
Silly Tour Moment, number 2.
Okay, we have
It's
a
coming.
special guest tonight. The Poet Master himself. What's your name? What's your name? How you doing? My name is Regis. You know, this is a part of the show that, you know, educational and cultural and all those other things. I'll tell you, my friend Kevin here and I came up with a nice little limerick for you. Thought I'd come out and read it for you. What do you think about that, Kevin?
Right on.
Thank you very much. That was Kevin Moore, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ready?
Okay, let's get serious here, okay? Can we get serious for a moment? Okay. Shh, 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 shh. You have to listen very carefully. Are you ready? There once was a man from Norwalk whose favorite composer was Bartok. It used to be Liszt, but then he got pissed and sold his guitar to the hard rock.
Thank you! Let's hear it, come on!
Oh, God. This is very embarrassing for me, you know. This is just silly tour moments. It's exactly what they are. I guess you get what you pay for, huh?
Well, like I said, we strive to give the loyal Nightwatch listeners something that they can't get anywhere else. Something that I wanted to ask you, Mike, in reading the lyrics for a lot of the Dream Theater songs, I personally get a sense of depth. I shudder to use the word meaning without being corny, but that's what I get. I was wondering
Meaning is good.
Yeah. What ideas and events tend to motivate the lyrical part of the songwriting process for you guys?
Well, this may sound cliche and corny, but reality. You know, basically we're writing about real-life experiences. The images and words, lyrics, were basically reflecting the years leading up to the recording of that record. And that was a period for us that was very frustrating and very trying. We were looking for a new vocalist. We were trying to get out of our previous record deal and look for a new one. It was basically a state of limbo we were in for about 2 years where nothing was happening, and it was very frustrating. And the only thing keeping us going was the music that we were writing. So a lot of the lyrics on that album are dealing with frustrations and dealing with the face of negativity and trying to be optimistic and keep your hopes up and keep your faith and all that kind of stuff. The lyrics for this album, actually we all wrote lyrics for this album, so it'll be the first album where all 5 of us have lyrical contributions. And once again, they're reflections of reality. You know, they're dealing with faith and trust and honesty and frustrations and basically real life situations. You know, I think they're maybe even more optimistic because we had a better year leading up to this record than the last time. We get too political. We don't want to get too fictional. We want to, you know, write stuff that people can relate to and emotions that people can relate to and stuff like that.
One of the things I noticed about the lyrics on Images and Words was that even though the band dealt with at least looking at dark or dark-ish issues of reality, that there was always a sense of hope beyond that.
Exactly.
Which is important.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And before we get too serious here, goodness, more music. Another gem from the Portnoy archives. What are we going to hear?
Extensive. Are we going to come back on air? Or
you know what? We're
gonna
getting near
wrap it
the
up?
end of the show. Before we go, a quick announcement about an upcoming Nightwatch. Just a quick break from Dream Theater here. David Overstreet will be back July 17th, and his special in-studio guest will be Patrick Moraz, who you may know from Yes, Main Horse, Refugee, The Moody Blues. And Patrick has a new record out, and he'll be talking about that. They'll be playing some music. And once again, we want to thank Jim and Don of Roundtable. We want to thank all the callers. We want to thank our engineer, Michael B. Good, for doing a great job for us tonight. He's catching all these curved balls that we're throwing right at him. And I'm going to turn you over to Mike Portnoy one more time. He's going to set this up for us.
Actually, before I set it up, I'd like to give some last-minute information. The new album is called Awake.
Okay.
It's a wide variety of material, 75 minutes long, 11 songs. There's a lot of stuff. There's a 20-minute trilogy on it. There's just a wide bag of music, and I think all the fans are going to be very satisfied. And we're hoping to have that out October 5th, and I think we may be premiering some of this stuff. I think the first show we're going to do might be here in L.A.
Really?
At the Foundations Forum convention that Concrete Marketing has every year. First week in September, and I'm pretty sure that we've just found out that we're going to be playing that night, one of the nights there. And so that'll be a little sneak preview of the upcoming tour. And I also would like to mention, for the people out there that are involved with the computer networks and stuff like that, there's a Dream Theater fanzine over in England, which really has a lot of cool information, a lot of stuff on bootlegs and a lot of pen pal stuff. And I'd just like to give the address because I know you guys get into that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
this is a real cool fanzine.
Great.
It's called Images and Words, and you'd have I think it's $14 for a year subscription, and it would be attention Neil Elliott, 8 Rylands Close, Caterham, Surrey, CR3 5HY, England. If you need that address again, I guess you can call us. But
Yeah,
it's a
I'll
real
take
cool
it down.
fanzine.
I'll take the address down, and they can call me and get it if they need to have
I
it.
think the fans will dig it, and we're involved with it, so it's not it's made by the fans, but we oversee it, make sure the information's correct, so you're getting
Authorized.
But anyway, on that note, the last goodie we have here is actually I think the coolest goodie I brought. This was from Milan, Italy, on the last European tour. And a lot of people had bootlegs of the 1986 Majesty demo over there, which was the first tape we ever recorded when we first put the band together. And everybody seemed to have bootlegs of it, so we decided when we went over on this tour to include a piece from the Majesty period into the live set for the fans that were familiar with it. So what you have here is Only a Matter of Time from the first album, and it goes directly into a portion of a song called March of the Tyrant from the Majesty demos. And this is from Milan, Italy, November 15th, 93. And I hope you dig it. I had a great time coming down here.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Great to have you. Honor, pleasure, and we want to make this an open forum for you, an open door. So when you come back in October or when the new album comes out, please come by again, and we'll
dig up some more goodies.
We'll let you go crazy again for another hour.
Cool.
And thanks everybody for listening. Tune in next week for more of Nightwatch from 7 to 8 p.m. here on 96.7. And we bid you a fond farewell and a good night from Dream Theater.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon. March of the Tyrant, Only a Matter of Time. See ya.